listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line, the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. Putting in the work for the most high. Valley of the bones coming back and we gon' ride. Showing you our past didn't start with that boat ride. We a nation made of kings, yeah, we chose right. Bringing our identity back. We the praise of the Lord, they pretend to be that. Judah is something special, they could never be that. We raise the vengeance with the knowledge so our enemies crack. In fact, listen to the class and the topic. Bomb subject matter, breakdowns atomic. Gathering the people, the whole duty of prophets. Precepts start flowing, no
Israel united in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Hey, shalom, 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 Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to another Thursday night edition of Precept upon Precept. We are your host. We just followed FCN. Shout out to Captain Zakar, who is late oftentimes. All praise the Lord. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
All praise the Lord. Do me a favor. Put that meme up. I want to start with the meme of the show. All right. Brothers do put in work when it comes to these memes. And I think everybody can relate and will relate to tonight's show because it is directly affecting all of us listening to this show. It all starts with the price of gas, and that's exactly what we're going to show y'all tonight. The price of gas is rising, okay? Rising, rising, rising. Get me the book of Acts 14:22. Acts 14. Shout out to the tech team. They do a lot behind the scenes. They try to tell us we can't drink the coffee. Well, I'm waiting for one of these brothers to get us some precept upon precept mugs, but they haven't done that yet. Lord's will, they will do that in the future. All right? Read that, please.
The book of Acts, chapter 14, verse 22, confirming the souls of the disciples.
Go ahead.
And exhorting them to continue in the faith.
And guess what? A lot of times our walk in this faith is going to be with bumps, bruises, and ups and downs. Right? Things are going to happen to each one of us in this truth that's going to try your faith, right? Because we are disciples. We are students of Christ, the teaching of this Bible. Read on.
And that we must through much tribulation.
Through what?
Through much tribulation.
A lot of us are going to go through it. We're going to go through it. We're going to go through it. And guess what? It's starting economic. There's a war. And all of this, yeah, they guise it with Putin and Russia and the U.S. and NATO. At the end of the day, it's an attack on the 12 tribes of Israel. It really is, okay? And we're going to show you that tonight's show. Read on.
Enter into the kingdom of God.
And that's what we're trying to do, okay? We are trying to get to the kingdom of heaven. We no longer will be stressed, depressed, and in a situation where we're downtrodden. So tonight's show, look, let's start off with, we're going to start with number one. Sometimes these brothers do a great job. They got a nice sheet and everything with the videos. We never stick to it, but these brothers, they do their thing. Number one, please, with gas, who had that article? Was that, I forget who was that, number one. All right. So we're going to go to number one, all right? So it says, yes, with rising gas prices, drivers are asking, is this for real? It was a song that, what's them weird brothers from Atlanta, them funny dudes?
Outkast.
I am for real. Remember that song?
Yeah, that's Outkast.
Yeah, that was a good song. I just thought of that. All right, so let's get into this real quick because you might think, and by the way, man, all the brothers like Officer Micah that drive diesel, I hope you got a turbo diesel because y'all brother, diesel's higher than unleaded gas. Diesel is going up. Look at it. Biodiesel 609. All right? Damn. Let's read this.
With rising gas.
I just cussed everybody out in this room because there was. I'm gonna leave it alone. So these brothers, I ripped them a new one because guess what? Sometimes you gotta let brothers know what time it is. Read.
With rising gas prices, drivers are asking, is this real?
Is this real? And those are real prices. Quick story. Those of you who are, anybody that's 35 years old, Officer Matt, you remember, all these brothers are late 30s, 40s. Some Mikael just went over the hill. I don't know what you were doing. He looks younger. You know, he doesn't have gray hair like me. He's in his second year of marriage. Give him a little bit longer here. He's gonna have a full head of gray hair. But let's share who remembers. I'm gonna tell about mine. You can tell about yours. In 2007, I was a teacher in 2008. I drove a Volvo 1999 Volvo S70, and gas was $4.79 a gallon. Where I was at Connecticut's a little bit higher than down here. And I remember having to choose, and I got $20. I can get to work now. It was that bad. Okay, tell me about.
I just in 2007, I had just got back from Iraq. I had a black Kia Optima. Now, I knew that every time I filled up, I could only afford like $30, $40 in gas, right? So I used to measure it by the gallons. I didn't measure it by the price.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, okay, I know my car could get this many miles to the gallon, and I got this far to travel. So, all right, I'm going to buy 5 gallons right now.
Right.
And I'm going to just have to work with that. But, you know, gas was up to like $4 outside the base. It was $4.
2007, I had a 2001 Chevy Impala. You know, that car sat most of the time because gas tanks were not small on those cars. Yeah, that car sat most of the time. I just leave it like that.
Oh, somebody, you were probably jumping out of a plane. You didn't have to worry about that point,
Yeah,
right?
I was young. I had a Ford Expedition.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
wow.
V8.
Yeah. But
Now I don't feel so
I used to
bad.
walk everywhere. We ran everywhere. We walked everywhere. I was in the barracks, so.
So, look, the point is, you at home, if you old, remember where you were, I guess that was 14 years ago, when the housing market burst. I lived in Connecticut at the time, and and I'm not being generalistic, half the people on my block went into foreclosure. I was one of them. Predatory lending, there's class action lawsuits. People were getting loans with just on a signature. It was crazy. The housing market busted. Gas went through the roof, the highest it's ever been. Well, this article is going to tell us it's exceeding that now. And we're at the beginning. It's only going to go up more and more. So guess what? It starts with the gas prices. That's the name of the show. All right, let's go back to the article real quick. We can read that. Who going to read?
I'll read it, Cap.
All right.
With rising gas prices, drivers are asking, is this real?
Uh-huh.
After working from home for months, 29-year-old Carol McInney was excited to get back to work in an office, even if her new job in Trenton, New Jersey meant coming in an hour each way. So
that's a 2-hour commute each way. Plus, that's probably not without traffic. Let's see if good old Carolyn is still excited. Read on.
But when he spent $68 filling up the tank of his
this
blue,
might be hold up.
Kev, you caught that right.
If this
I
hold
caught
up,
that right.
this might be a transgender because Carolyn is the name and he's a he. So this maybe it's a typo, but in this society, it's probably Carolyn is a man. So okay.
I think it's a typo because it said go back to it said even if her new job in Trenton, New Jersey meant coming an hour each way.
Okay.
Then the next one says, but when he spent, I think they
okay. It's a typo. All right.
I think it's a typo.
So Bruce Jenner's got us all shook. Caitlyn Jenner, it is what it is.
Bruce.
Right. This is how bad this country is. The man was a decathlete. Like the top guy, he was in the Wheaties box back when I was a little boy. On the Wheaties box, He was prime testosterone tough guy. And now he walking around with Botox looking like calling himself Caitlyn. This is how we know. That's why we was shocked.
If mama named him Bruce, I'm going to call him Bruce.
Right. Oh, gosh.
He go to Ukraine. He's a man.
Yeah.
Right. The president, you see that video of the president of Ukraine dancing in high heels and like a Big John Studd and Andre the Giant wrestling suit on with high heels on doing, and we're going to get that video. All right. Read on.
But when he spent $68 filling up the tank of his blue Nissan Maxima this week, he felt a surge of regret after changing jobs. Is this for real? Miss Anani, was that McEnany, remember thinking, I took a further job from home to earn more money. And now I feel like I did nothing for myself because gas is so high.
Oh, poor European American man, woman, person. Oh.
The recent rise in gas prices, which has been pushed even further by the war in Ukraine, has contributed to a sense of frustration with President Biden. I think he wants us to go out and spend money in the economy. But at the same time, everything is being inflated, she said.
Now, later on, we're going to deal with inflation because those of you who studied history, world history, there were certain times in history with inflation. Like, for example, post-World War I Germany. I took a class in college called The History of Modern Germany. The reason why Hitler rose, because there was such a need for a leader in Germany, because in between World War I and World War II, inflation was incredibly hyperinflation to the point where they would have to the money was worth nothing. They had wheelbarrows full of money to go buy food. It was ridiculous. You can research that. But and also in the 1970s in this country, okay, when your boy Nixon, who said I'm not a crook, took away gold as the backing to U.S. currency, and the Federal Reserve began to print mass notes with nothing backing it up. Okay, and that's why they fight wars and take people's stuff, because they have to secure the money with something. Victories of war. Go ahead, read on.
Americans everywhere are feeling the brunt of rising. Americans everywhere are feeling the brunt of rising gasoline, which hit the national average of $4.07 a gallon on Monday.
Stop. I'm glad we did this. $4.07 on Monday. Do me a favor, tech team. Get what is the national average of gas as of March 10th, 2022. And let me know when you get it, and take your time. When you get it, let us know. We're going to make a comparison because it's going up significantly just from Monday, okay? Go back to the article.
A gallon on Monday, up more than 10% from a week ago.
Wow.
The last time consumers faced such a sharp rise in prices was during the 2008 financial crisis, when the global economy came undone.
Right, and we talked about that. 2007, it was actually, we felt it, the housing bust, but what happened, it was a global thing, all right? So now we're at another forefront. What's going on? There's war in Russia, but if you think about it, I remember about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, at a Walmart where we live at, it was $2.91. That's what gas was, about $2.91. This was not too long ago. This is weeks ago, a couple months at the most. So we've seen an incredible spike in gas. All praises, tech team, all praises. Let's see that. Let's take a look at that real quick.
We saw a 100% increase, because the gas was $2.70 something in the beginning of January. Now I remember, because I went to the racetrack to get gas.
So So if it went up, the thing about increases is the way Esau does it. If it went up $1, if it was $2.70, and it went up $1.35, that would be a 50% increase. So you're right. It's close to about 50-something%, which it's ridiculous in that short of time. Go ahead, brother.
March 10th, 2020, at 4 p.m., gas prices shot up at a record fast pace this week, jumping from a national average of 3.656 on March 2nd and 4.318 on March 10th.
All right, do me a favor. I'm gonna prove it to you. So somebody take the everybody got a calculator app. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna mathematically get this. Take 4.318, subtract 3.656, get that number, and then I'm gonna show you the percentage it went up. And it's not quite 25% in 8 days, but it's probably close to 20%. Hold up now. No, that's not true. So if it went up not quite $1. So I want that number. It's about 70 cents. What is it? What's the number? So if it went up 66%. So if you take 0.66, right, and divide that into 3.65, that's going to be the percentage. So if we can divide 3.65 or 3.66 by that number you just said. Let me do it. I want us to see in real time how much it's gone up percentage-wise in this short a time. All right, somebody say something. I'll figure it out.
So that's what I kept getting. Are these mics ain't low, are they? All right.
So anyways, so it's 66% in what you do. Okay, it's about 60. It's about 15, 17% roughly. But that's 15 to 17% in the national average in 8 days.
Yeah.
In 8 days. So let's go back to January. I think January said about 270.
Yep.
So 270 to the national average is 435. Put the screen back up real quick.
And remember, Cap, that's national average. That's not
Yes.
That's not pockets of places that may have jumped higher.
Right. Like parts of certain elite or certain affluent areas, it's over $7 a gallon. We saw 1 in 9 in Los Angeles. So
yeah, my sister-in-law, she lives in San Diego.
Oh my God.
She said that it's $6.
$6.
$6 a gallon for
So
87.
You got to really understand. So if you think about it, do me a favor, type in what was the national average gas price on January 1st of 2022. And then we're gonna make a comparison. I should have a pen. I'm gonna write this down. 321? 341. So 341, and what is the national average right now? Let me sit up. So it went up roughly $1. Can we say that? Okay, pull that up, pull the website up. Because sometimes we got to just take our time and actually look at the numbers. And so you can understand this is directly affecting your pockets right now. Because all shipping commerce, we're going to get into that, is going to be directly affected. Your train tickets, your bus tickets, your plane tickets, the food prices, the prices of household cleaners, everything is going up. And it's not going to stop. Oh, there we go. Okay, I like that.
Wow.
All right, so let's look at I like that. So let's look at January. So if somebody does anybody have a pen, or somebody could give me a pen and I'll do all the work. I would like a pen, or somebody at home on our audience can do this, because we're going to take math. Some 3.413.
All right, what we doing?
I'm going back arithmetic. Somebody got a pen? Or okay.
I got calculator.
Remember that number. Now pull up the national average as of today, March 10th, 2022.
4.3.
Okay. So so it's damn near, actually, it's a little bit more than $1, right? Like 1.00.
A little less than $1.
It's 90 cents.
Yeah.
90 cents.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. 90 cents. So 90 cents is almost $1. So it's around 20 22 to 23%. If a dollar is well, it's about 21 to 22% roughly, right? That's gone up in approximately less than, well, about 3 months. So in about the first quarter, gas has gone up almost 22%.
Damn.
That's insane. That's insane. All right? Go back to the article. We just got to put sometimes
and
figures in it.
you know the dude that they voted for, because y'all the ones that voted for him. The dude that they voted for, he's basically saying, look, gas could go up to $10. We not messing with Russia. These embargoes, they trying to hurt Russia, but they hurting themselves too.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Let's read on with that article.
Americans everywhere are feeling the.
Let's scroll down the interest
The
of
last
time.
time.
The last
Unless
time.
y'all
That's
brothers
it.
at any time. I got cussed out by the white man at work today, so right now I'm just trying to just keep it together. You ever been cussed out by you gotta hold your tongue, you bite your damn tongue. You gotta just deal with it, right? You gotta deal with it.
Hey, just go back to it. Rise up, raise up, raise up. Because I saw up.
No, the other way.
Up. Yeah,
Right
right
there,
there.
right there.
All right, do the
The
last
time.
time. The last time consumers face. Because that's what you was talking about,
Yes.
Cap.
Right.
The last time consumers faced such a sharp rise in prices was during the 2008 financial crisis.
So it says the 2008 financial crisis. So if we just started this and we've already exceeded the 2008 national price, and so we're beyond the financial crisis now. We've already exceeded that, and it's still going up.
And they can't blame Obama for this one.
They can't blame the so-called black man for this one. Well, Obama's a Hamite, but they can't blame the brown guy in the office. So all of these things are happening, and it's happening at a time that we can see a war going on right now.
Yep.
We are living in the last days, and I'm telling you, we're going to be touched. You being touched right now. Right now, some of y'all going to work, you're having to make, and we're going to bring an article, meat is going up through the roof, okay? So the Lord's going to show us certain things. We're going to have to eat less. We're going to have to come together. We're going to have to do more gardening. We're going to have to come together and help each other more. We have to do carpooling. If gas gets to $6 an hour on a national scale, which it very well could be, that is going to directly affect those semis that are bringing all the food to these stores. And if food goes up and your wage doesn't go up, like they had an article, matter of fact, we're going to get it in a minute, about Uber drivers and DoorDash drivers. They don't get increases of pay, but they're being directly impacted right now.
Yep.
Okay? We've got brothers throughout IUIC that do supplement their income with those driving services. Okay? Read on.
When the global economy came undone, at the time, the average price per gallon reached about $5.37 when adjusted for inflation. This time, high gasoline prices are hitting a slew of crises, including Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Right, which was fabricated, started by NATO, led by the U.S. to try to encroach on Russia's border, which they broke all the treaties with Russia starting in the 90s when NATO began to encroach. We've covered that the last about month and a half. A damn pandemic and a planned war. And Russia's just defending their damn home front. Okay, read on.
A pandemic that is easing, but still not over, and the highest inflation level in 40 years.
The highest inflation level in 40 years. Let's do the math. So 40 years ago was 1982. And what happened was when there's an article that I posted about Richard Nixon. If you could, real quick, it just came to me. I'm going to get it for you. It's a video. Oh, gosh, let me find this doggone thing. Y'all brothers say something real quick.
Hey, just to show you that this thing is going to be hard to catch up with, he said that the article said that this crisis of gas inflation is happening within a slew of crises. So you already got people that are losing their jobs because they don't want to take the mosquito bite. You got people that are got to work from home because they got to take the mosquito bite.
Right.
The pandemic was already raising prices because a lot of people were losing jobs. They did the stimulus thing. When you give out money, you got to raise prices because it causes inflation. That's supply and demand, basic economics, right? Now, with all of that, now you got a war starting with one of the biggest suppliers of oil and gas to the world, and now you're trying to block them off through sanctions. That's causing gas prices to rise. So you got a war that's directly affecting the gas. You got a pandemic that was already affecting the gas, and then the inflation that already happens every year.
And not only that, Russia is not only one of it's 10% of the oil that we got from Russia. They're also, believe it or not, as cold as they are, a major world supplier of grain as well. So that affects the food market. All these different things. Officer Matt put it, that's perfect the way he said that, because look, and here's the deal. It's only getting worse, and it's getting worse day by day. Day by day, it went up 20 cents in 2 days. As a national, brothers and sisters, you are living in a time that we're going to get touched. And that's why we trying to lead by, y'all really need to get these gardens going. It's right now, you can still buy stuff. It used to be $1, I think it was $1.49 or 59. Now a red bell pepper where I'm at, and a yellow bell pepper and an orange pepper is $1.89 for one of them. Well, you can grow a whole bunch of them if you get transplants or from seed, and for very low cost. Okay, so you brothers, we got to really see this and take it seriously and make moves with this. Come together and move on this. Okay, your pantry should be jacking up their pantries and stocking up, sealing it safely. So when we can't get rice, might be whatever. Right now you can get 2 pounds of rice for like $2 at Walmart. It could be $4 soon. It could double in price. Okay, play number 8 if you would.
This might be returning to the runaway inflation of the 1970s.
No one wants to see that happen again.
Can we start the first minute? We're at the first minute? All right. So we just started off, right? So the name of this is What the Inflation of the 1970s Can Teach Us Today. So we're going to watch the first minute, and then we're going to jump to about 2 minutes, right before 3 minutes. So let's just listen to, look at that old school cash register. Okay, they got the buttons on. Each one had their own assigned button. Okay.
So this is starting from 0.
Yeah. So I did label it. It's first minute. All right. Beautiful. All right.
Everyone
so check this
is
out.
talking about
Inflation.
It's the word that's been on everyone's lips lately, and some are looking back at history.
In fact, we've not heard inflation talked this much since really the 1970s.
That's because over the past few months, prices for everything from gasoline to groceries have been rising sharply as the economy roars back from the pandemic recession. This graph charts the Consumer Price Index, a metric that measures the average change in prices for consumer goods and services compared to a year ago, or more simply put, inflation. In May of this year, prices spiked 5% to reach the highest annual inflation rate in nearly 13 years. Many economists believe that a small amount of inflation, around 2%, is inevitable and even desirable. That's essentially what we've had for the past 15 years before this most recent surge. But these recent increases have some fearing that.
All right, so it's just talking about inflation, and it's telling you it's the annual inflation is the highest it's been in 13 years. But now we're going to fast forward to the next timestamp, and there was a key point in this country's history, and anybody that tries to go back to setting a currency based upon a standard of value like gold or silver, the U.S. will attack them economically or send in the jackals and just get what they want through military and political poisoning. I like that word, political poisoning. Play when you get there.
Richard Nixon took office.
The time has come for a new economic policy for the United States.
In 1971, Nixon ordered that the dollar would no longer be backed by gold.
Let's stop real quick. So I want you to understand something. What the U.S. does is they'll take a one figure and they'll assign the blame to that one figure. Like Putin Putin got a whole team behind him advising him. You think Nixon is bright enough I'm just going to, no. He had a whole series of advisors and economists that were telling him, look, we got to do this. And if you look, where were we at this time in 1971? Fighting the Viet Cong, okay? Our GIs were over there on bamboo shoots with feces getting gangrene and all type of trench warfare and all that. I think we was out of there in, 70? Vietnam might have been just getting over. Google the end of the Vietnam War. I think it is the tail end, because I remember my father was and my uncle, I think they got out in the late 60s. Google when was the last year of the Vietnam War. We either just came out of the Vietnam War or was the last year or two of the Vietnam War. Okay, so Vietnam War is still going on, okay? And let's think about this. Pull up a map. I know I'm throwing a lot at y'all, brothers. Pull up a map of Vietnam, South Vietnam. And do you think we were over there because we wanted Vietnam's resources? The reason why the U.S. was in Vietnam is because we wanted a springboard into guess where? Russia. You remember the Cuban Missile Crisis? When they came to our backyard? Well, that's why when we have Marine Corps bases in Japan, because when you look at the island of Japan, it's not too far from Russia. Hawaii, Alaska, same thing, right? All these things were strategic. Alaska was actually before the Soviet Union. But go ahead and show that.
So, Cap, you mean to tell me that the United States had an issue with somebody putting missiles on an island that was close to their land?
100%.
So Russia has a problem with America trying to put nuclear facilities and bombs close to their land, right?
And that's exactly what the United States, the average dumb American, does not understand.
Wow.
They don't get it. And the funny thing about it is you would think that because they're both Edomites, both nations, that they would have some sort of, but the general masses really believes Putin is the bad guy and he's a villain and doing all this and going after these innocent Ukrainians that are blue-eyed and flowing blonde hair and they're victims. And no, it's a lot deeper than that. There's a map. All right. So if we look at North Vietnam, you got Laos. In the Marine Corps, I had a buddy named Phoy Chentavong, who was from Laos. His parents came here seeking asylum, and he had 14 letters, and no one could pronounce his name, so they dogged his ass out in boot camp. They called him P-14. They jumped out of Foot Locker. He had to do row your boat. He couldn't pronounce R's and W's, and they mocked the hell out of him. Anyways, North Vietnam, they held it down. We were in South Vietnam trying to encroach northward. Why? Because it borders in guess what country? China. Now, give me a map of China, or if there's a way you can scroll up. Okay, get another map, because China is North Vietnam borders China. But to the north of China is your boy, Mikhail Gorbachev and Vladimir Putin. So when we look at this, the U.S. they're very cunning. They're very crafty.
And that's exactly what Putin was saying before all of this stuff jumped off. Like, look, they're not part of NATO. They have a treaty with us. You cannot put them in NATO. Then the Trumpster said that Ukraine was one of the most corrupt countries and governments on the planet. So if they're that corrupt, I mean, that's prime pickings for the U.S. The U.S. loves corrupt government. Whoever's willing to take the dollar, or whoever's willing to take their policies and be their friend, that's what they're going to do. So Russia's not going to allow that to happen. They're not going to allow the NATO treaties to be manipulated. They're not going to allow their current treaties with Ukraine to be manipulated. That's why there's division in Germany, but we're already sending our troops to Germany to help with Ukraine, but they're not part of NATO, but they're a buddy of NATO. So it's just like they're a part of NATO because they're getting all of the assets of being a part of NATO without actually calling them a NATO ally.
Get me the, thank you. Get me the, there's a scripture, it says the border of wickedness. It's in Malachi. Let me see. Yeah, 1 and 5. So everywhere this man goes, okay, this Edomite in North America, this United States of American government, Babylon the Great, the red dragon, okay, Esau in the scriptures. Wherever he goes, there's issues and there's evil that follows him. Everywhere he goes. Let's read this scripture.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Right, and that's what's going to happen. The Lord is going to throw this man down, because right now, you would think besides Russia and the U.S., who can take these Edomites down? Nobody. No one can mess with. Russia's got the most nukes. The U.S. has got the second most, but the U.S. has got air superiority. These are two Edomite countries. Who's going to take one of them down? Who's going to take both of them down? Read on.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness.
Why? Because everywhere on their borders, there's issues. There's wars. There's drama. There's poisoning. There's everything you can imagine evil is going on there. DNA mutations. Okay, I got a video I'm going to send you. I was going to play, but it just blew my mind the way that they're able to control thoughts in DNA. It's crazy. Okay, that's all I wanted. Go back to that Richard Nixon again.
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
You know how the scripture just said they're the border of wickedness. You got to look at the U.S., what they're doing. Right now, they're trying to paint the picture that Russia's the bad guy, and Russia's so bad, and oh, pray for Ukraine. But meanwhile, the United States is bombing Somalia.
Right, right.
And what's in Somalia? Natural gas. Somalia has the potential to produce between 5 and 10 billion gallons of barrels of natural oil, natural gas. Wow. So look at what the U.S. is doing.
And you know what, bro? And guess what? Somalia is not going to get any economic benefits from that. And that's what this white man does, okay? He steals, pillages, robs, and rapes and breaks every treaty, and he does it with his own brother. Yep. Putin is just strong enough to call him out. What are you talking about? You promised us after the 1990s there'd be no more encroachment east to Russia. And that's exactly what they're doing. How the hell did Mongolia get part of NATO? How did that happen? How did Poland, how did these other countries, especially Kazakhstan, they wasn't having that. Let me ask you a question. What I don't understand is the Russia did the same thing in Kazakhstan. They brought their military in, they quelched the BS, and they went home. But in Ukraine, now they're starting a war. You see how slick they are? It's the same thing going on in Ukraine that happened in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is just a hell of a bigger country. It's the 9th largest country, and she has a very large border with Russia. Ukraine is a smaller border, but Ukraine borders closest to Moscow. That's like in Bermuda is closest to Washington, D.C. Imagine they sent Russian intelligence and Russian military to Bermuda, and the missiles are pointed towards D.C. Are you kidding me? Okay, so it's the same thing. Like Officer Matt said before, it's hypocritical. Esau, especially this American Edomite, is the worst hypocrite, the worst one. Putin is a damn devil, but he's like, look, he's telling the internet, look at these guys. They're damn hypocrites. And a lot of these other countries see it. Yep. But a lot of them won't say nothing because if they will be sanctioned and they will embargo if you disagree with the big bully America. Okay? That's exactly what's going on. It's like a schoolyard bully. All right, go ahead. Video first, and then we'll go to the map. So, okay, so remember Nixon, it wasn't just him. It was a team of advisors, economic strategists and advisors that decided they had the brilliant idea, well, they can because the military bullies of the earth, that they can now take the national U.S. dollar and not have it be backed or secured by gold anymore. That's what this is telling you. Play it again.
The time has come for a new economic policy for the United States.
In 1971, Nixon ordered that the dollar would no longer be backed by gold.
Inflation robs every American, every one of you.
Nixon also influenced the Fed's monetary policy, pushing the central bank to pump more money into the economy and keep interest rates low.
By letting inflation rise gradually for a number of years, the Fed compromised the trust the public held that the Fed would maintain price stability. Businesses and households started expecting that inflation would persist.
As prices went up, workers started pressing, in part for unions, and as wages went up, companies started raising prices even more, and we got this game of leapfrog where prices and wages both went up.
We must whip inflation right now.
These policy missteps continued under President Ford, and later under President Carter.
I wanted to show that it was Nixon, then it was Johnson, then it was going on to Ford, and Carter, and then the Reagan came in, and Reagan saved the day, right? Yes, sir. Just to show you that when they had that no more backing, they started to print massive amount of money to control the inflation rate. But if it's not backed by anything, how do you secure your power? You have to go steal stuff.
Yep.
No, literally, quite literally. Like, you ever seen a pirate? You know, pirates, the way they finance their voyages is they just go steal stuff. And that's what the United States does. They're very savvy warlocks in the way that they're able to do it and have you thinking that they're your friend.
That's war. That's war. That's the knowing how empires work. If you lose funds, you just encroach on somebody and take theirs. Especially if you can overpower them, you just take their resources. That's war. You take back in the day, they was taking their sheep, their oxen, their women, right, their gold, their treasuries. That's why they was doing all of that stuff. They go in there and they take the stuff and then they add it to their repertoire. That's how they gain more power.
Hey,
all right.
Hey, that's part of his resume. Can we get Obadiah verse 5? That's in direct line with what Esau does. Remember Trump when he was trying to get everybody out of Afghanistan, and he's like, man, why don't you leave? He said, hey, they gotta pay.
Yes.
They gotta pay.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want my money. Like, I'm not leaving until they give me them ducats. And this is why. Can you read it, officer?
Obadiah, verse 5. If these come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off?
So we know a thief. He's just going to get in and get out what he can and try not to get caught while doing it. He ain't going to come in and try to be greedy. Mm-hmm. Not Esau. Read on.
Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
That's why he in that video kept posted, he said it keeps leapfrogging. He's willing to let the free world go to crap because of all the stuff that they started. You come in, you cut the Keystone Pipeline, that hurts your country. Now, all of a sudden, you ain't taking oil from them, and then you bombing Somalia over here where you can get the oil from. You destroying everything. Why? Read on.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
So you would think that he would say, you know what? I'm going to leave some of the resources to take care of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Not Esau. He getting all the juice out the turnip.
Yep. All right, with that, we get ready to go to break, Israel. We're going ready to break, tech team. All praises. Y'all, hey, get ready for Passover. It's right around the corner. So with that, we're going to go to break. Stay with us. All right, let me see something. Impact the war, Ukraine.
Hey out there, I'm Lawrence Thornburg, Yasharala Ben Judah III. I know you may be wondering why I'm reaching out to you from the privacy of my own home and not the Passover, which is going on right now. I was unsurreptitiously denied access to the Passover because I was allegedly accused of having the vid. Which I did. I might have had a slight cough.
Yo, you can't come up here like that, man.
What you
can't come up here like
man?
that. Nah, I ain't shaloming you. I really don't want to look at you.
I might have had a little runny nose. Nothing major. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have another garment. You know what I'm talking about? Super fly. What color you gonna go with this year?
I'm gonna go with black and emerald.
Black and emerald? Gonna be clean. I'm talking about drip down.
Drip down.
Yeah,
huh?
drip down.
Drip down. Okay.
Yeah, I'm tripping. I can't believe they even accused me of sneezing on a brother in the line.
What's your name?
My name is Jedediah Israel. Should be on that somewhere.
So what? It was cold. I had little chills. You all right? Man, I got the chills, man. It's cold, bro. You ain't cold, man? Man, it's like I'm hot, I'm sweating, I'm freezing, but something, man. Where you going? If you fit any of that criterion, don't call 1-800-PASS-OVER. Call 1-800 I've been passed over. Something to drink. Man, I'm sick, man.
That I could do to please you, my Lord, above all the rest. I don't think twice about who you love. Chose above all these nations on earth. About time it's our turn. How many chances have you given to us? Won't take this one for granted, granted. Many are called, but few are chosen to learn.
Oh,
It's a bling bling.
Yeah. More necklaces. Boy, coming in with jewelry on.
Hey, man, you did it.
Telling you, I know it.
You walk in
Hey,
there, you
I'm
look like you
telling
was
you.
in the kingdom,
I'm
boy.
telling you, boy. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Hey there, it's me again. As you know, Mel and I are working on a Passion of the Christ sequel. We're asking that you continue to support us in any way possible. And those of you whom have not yet donated to the Joseph's Dream short film, we want to give you a special thank you. Send those funds over to help us establish our vision. Jesus loves you, and God bless America.
Welcome back to Precept on Palm. Precept. Today's show is It Starts with the Gas Prices. We're going to article number 10, and I want to show you something in the spirit. I want to say everyone should check this and catch this right away. We're going to play as food prices are on the rise. Guess what? Companies are taking an advantage of that, especially these big conglomerates, these big corporations that control industries. And not only are they jacking the price, they're jacking the prices a little bit higher than they probably should be. So you have to fight the high gas prices. You have to fight all of the COVID-19 restrictions and guidelines. And then you've got these corporate entities that are jacking the prices up, taking advantage of us, the consumers. Check this out.
Well, it's not just fuel costs hitting records. Prices are up across the board, and inflation is getting most of the blame for the sticker shock. But a CBS News investigation found that corporate greed is also a major factor. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez explains.
Hi, baby.
For Selena Flores and her family, it's no longer about stretching the budget. It's about what gets cut.
It was meat at every meal, and now it's maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week.
The monthly grocery bill for this family of 4 has nearly doubled, she says. They now rely on a monthly food donation from this nonprofit in Immokalee, Florida, to make ends meet.
We're just trying to keep up with everything, and the prices keep going up.
The biggest food price hikes are in meats, with pork and beef up 14 to 20% from a year ago. Food companies and some economists say pandemic disruptions, inflation, and high demand are to blame. But others question whether there's more at play. Ricardo Salvador is with the Union of Concerned Scientists, a nonprofit advocacy group.
You're seeing just orders of magnitude greater profit that are not justified by the actual rate of inflation or their increased costs.
We pulled the quarterly reports on Tyson, the nation's largest meat processor. The company posted $3 billion in profit in 2021 and over $1 billion just last quarter. That means profits were up a staggering 48%, even as inflation is hurting American families. A big reason for those skyrocketing profits, a 31% price hike on beef, 20% on chicken, and 13% on pork.
Pause.
This was the...
Leave it up there if you would. I'm just going to be quiet for 10 seconds. All right, so now we all looked at that, right? We've been saying it for a long time. Notice what is happening. The prices are going up, but guess what? The meat is the most cheap to buy. Pork is still the cheapest. It goes up the least. And so guess what? Here's a family of 4. I got to feed my family. Well, I can't afford the beef. The beef is our chicken is hot, but I can still get the pork. It's designed. It's designed to keep the nation of Israel in sin. It's designed like that. And furthermore, not only are we victims of the gas prices, when meat goes up, guess what? We are the victims of that as well. Because guess what? It's not going to affect a lot of Caucasians' pockets because they have resources. They have old money. They have the direct benefits of insurance policy payouts and all these different things. They have that. It affects primarily Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and poor Caucasians, but it is what it is. Some of them going to be poor too. But we are directly receiving the backlash of all this, and this is horrible. Play on real quick. All right, tell you what, while we wait for that, no worries. Get me the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 12. So what should be the lesson in all of this? Okay, everyone can see, well, we know that already. Gas prices are going up. So what? We understand that. It's hurting my pocket. Okay, corporate companies are taking advantage if they're going to charge more. Okay, so there's a war in Ukraine. Okay, the U.S. is starting issues. What should this teach us? This is what it should teach us. Read.
Proverbs chapter 27, verse 12. A prudent man foreseeth the evil.
So a man that's prudent, that's in these scriptures, understand that evil is coming. The gas prices have gone up from about national $2.70 back in January to March 10th, $4.30 something. That is much more evil's coming. Okay, and it's not black men in position that's doing this. This is our enemies that are setting this up, setting this economy up for this. Read on.
And hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
So if we are simple, we're gonna carry on like everything's all right. We're not gonna plan for things. The prudent foreseeth evil. We here in Israel United in Christ, we as the Israelites, this is the beginning. It's gonna get a lot worse. So what does that tell you? We have to look to the ant, right? What does he do? How do they work together? We're going to be forced to come together with maybe carpooling, ride sharing, okay, with community gardening, with stockpiling of food in our pantries. We have to start thinking like this at mass levels. We have to start. The time is over. We have to start doing now, okay? You brothers, you leaders, you officers, you soldiers, you captains, we have to start planning and implementing now before it's too late. Okay, read it again.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil.
Foreseeth the evil, come on.
And hideth himself.
How do you hide yourself? You hide yourself with, you know what? I'm going to start putting this away, putting this way, so when the ish hits the fan, okay, this Congress, we're going to be okay. We got a plan and ready to go. The evil's here. Okay, we're going to be all right. We're going to be able to go over here and do this. Okay, we got a distribution system set up to get our Congress this. be able to get them the essentials to be able to survive. These are things that prudent men have to do. Because right now, it's still you are right. Okay, $4.30. Well, what when it gets to be $6, $6.30? Now people really start getting touched by that thing. So, brothers and sisters, take this seriously. All right. We got that back.
CEO on an earnings call last month.
Not asking customers or the consumer ultimately to pay for our inefficiencies. We're asking them to pay for inflation.
In a statement,
now, real quick, go back to where was the timestamp at? So there was a consumer advocacy group of scientists that investigated this. It wasn't a couple of local irate shoppers at your local Piggly Wiggly that are coming up with this. These are people that are investigating these corporate companies. Tyson being the largest meat company, meat distribution. Go back to where it said I think it was a Spanish brother was speaking of an advocacy group.
Pandemic disruptions, inflation, and high demand are to blame. But others question whether there's more at play. Ricardo Salvador is with the Union of...
So he's an Israelite. Ricardo El Salvador. So this guy is one of many scientists that go and study economies and businesses. And they're telling you their findings. So these guys they're educated, they work together, and they study trends, they study price increases. So let them talk.
Of Concerned Scientists, a nonprofit advocacy group.
You're seeing just orders of magnitude greater profit that are not justified by the actual rate of inflation or their increased cost.
We pulled the quarterly reports on Tyson.
So not only are we dealing with gas prices that are going high, now they'll say, well, it's inflation. And then they can raise the price and raise it up even more because they're a monopoly. If you don't have, like, for example, when cell phones used to come out, they had a couple different lines. Now there's so much competition in cell phones that they're forced, they can't raise their prices so high. If 4 major meat companies control 85% of the industry, who can regulate them? The federal government can't regulate them. It's the market that regulates that. So he's telling you there's nothing we can do about it. It's hyperinflation, and what they're doing is he calls it, oh my gosh, inflation piracy, something along the lines of that. Anyways, there was one of you brothers had an article that was, I think that you mentioned Israel. Who had that article that it said it showed that it was Israel? Then well, okay, no problem. Go to, oh gosh, hold up. Say something real quick. I'm looking for something. Officer Matt, say something.
Yeah, most definitely. When you look at what's going on right now, watch, people are going to start taking it more serious. Now they're going to start to see the gas prices. Now they're going to start to see the need to grow food. They're going to start to see the need to come work together. That's when you're going to have people that are just going to come out of the woodworks. Watch. We talk about the 11th hour a lot, right? Yep. Watch this 11th hour. People going to be coming hat in hand. How you doing today, sir? I know I cursed you out the past 4 years you've been teaching on the street, but I finally see the light. Any way I can come and join you men now?
Y'all kept saying, and one of all things. What do y'all really? What does that really mean?
I'm telling you. Wait until stuff starts getting bad.
Would 7 work? 7 doesn't work, right? Can we get 7? I think 7 was the article. If we can get that.
Yeah. 7 is the article because it's going to show it's going to hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what one of the things, Cap, that rich people like to do. One of their war tactics: starve out the poor.
Right.
They couldn't get us with this mosquito bite. Couldn't get us. Can't get us with the medical stuff. Let's see if we can starve them out.
So check Article 7. It is huge gas price hikes will hurt poor Americans. Ex-Pentagon spokesman, Mr. David Lapon. So we're going to get this real quick. Hey, Y'all at home, understand this. That's where we started with Acts 14:22. Don't think that you're not going to go through something. Just you found out you're Israel, ooh, rah, you Israelite, all praise the Lord. I put away the pork. Sisters wear a dress. Okay, no more showing your cleavage, no more Christmas. The Lord is going to put you through the ringer. That's why Zephaniah said, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. We are going to have to work together. And we live in a capitalistic society that taught you, go do you.
Yep.
Me, my, I. We have to start thinking we, us, community. We're going to be forced to work together. We're going to be forced to work together.
Hey, and that's a big thing that we as black people have a big issue with. You know, we talk to people all the time, and it's like, hey, do you see this problem going on with black people? Well, I don't have that problem. Well, me personally, if you asking me, no, I'm asking you about the state of our people. Well, I don't have that problem because I don't do this and I don't do that. Everybody's always the exception to the rule somehow. Everybody, when we talk to all of these different people, everybody is always the exception to the rule. We have to understand that though you have it, it can be taken away by somebody who needs it. They got the means to take it away from you. Negroes become animals after a while. They can't get their food. They can't get what they need. What do they start doing? Look at the natural disasters that have happened. Look at Katrina. What happened? Look at the hurricanes. Mayhem. You know what I'm saying? Look at the earthquakes that have happened all over. When natural disasters happen, look at the response of the population. Now, take that natural disaster and put it towards war, inflation, and famine. Same exact response.
Hey, officer, I got one word for them, and if they know they're gonna get it, and if not, y'all need to pay attention. Negan. If y'all ain't watched The Walking Dead, y'all not gonna get it. But if y'all watch The Walking Dead, y'all gonna understand where we're headed to. And Esau don't just put things out there.
We gotta wake up and pay attention. Y'all got those articles ready?
Hey, what's going on with that article is RT News is putting out way too much truth, so they blocked the website yet again.
Right, and they came up with the sweetest version, and that got blocked too, something.
Yeah.
And a lot of great truth came out of there, and that's a perspective that is a non-European, or I'll say a non-white American philosophy.
They're on the defense, Cap. They're on the defense because America controls the media worldwide, so they're trying their best to put the truth out there some way somehow, but they're gonna get shut down.
Right. So we're gonna check the screenshots out. Bear with us. All right, all praises. So, okay, we got to work with what we got to work with. All right, I'll just read it. So, huge gas price hikes will hurt poor Americans, ex-Pentagon spokesman says. A former U.S. Secretary official said the sacrifice of Americans pales comparison to that of Ukrainians. So, apparently, okay, there we go. Officer Micah, please read that.
Dave LePan, a former spokesperson for the U.S. Department of Defense, as well as the Department of Homeland Security, has opened that while the latest increase in gas prices is bound to adversely affect some sections of American society, the sacrifice is necessary and negligible compared to that of Ukrainians.
Damn.
He said
the sacrifice is necessary. So look, y'all Negroes starve. I mean, it is what it is. Casualty of war. This is how they feel about you. Dang. The same ones that want to pray for Ukraine, your country is saying, well, if we lose, if he dies, he dies.
He dies. That's right. Responding to an opt-in, the Washington Post on Wednesday, LePan tweeted that the increase in gas prices will definitely hurt many low-income working Americans. However, according to
let's pause real quick. Go ahead, Mikhail. Go ahead.
It said low-income working Americans. One word, well, two words, you Negroes.
And it's crazy. It's a snowball effect because a lot of times our people, they ride around. Them lights on the dashboard, by the way, the one that shows that high beam, that one's supposed to be on. That little yellow one in the corner say check engine, and things of that sort, that makes your car burn more fuel. And a lot of times, our people, they don't have the resources to get that stuff repaired. So it just snowballs. Like now, you struggling to get to work, your car not running right. They raising gas prices. It's a direct hit on us.
And that's why the Lord says, "Get me Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1." We've heard this scripture. Those of you who've been in the truth for 2-3 years, you've probably heard this scripture 100 times. And it's important because the part when it says, "O ye nation not desired," well, that's the not desired. We just read that quote. It will hurt many working poor Americans, or whatever it said. I quoted it wrong. That's generally speaking about us. We are the servants. We are the slaves of this society. Okay, read.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
So the Lord is telling Zephaniah, our forefather, an Israelite, that we as the Israelites, the 12 tribes, we're going to have to gather ourselves together. Read on.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
He said it twice. Why? Because that shows you the nation not desired throughout the Bible has been the 12 tribes of Israel. We have to desire to gather together, and we have to come out of this individual capitalistic mindset that is me, my, and I. And it needs to be us, we, and our. That's how we're going to survive. If this gas, and I pray it doesn't get to this level, if gas prices get to $6-7 a gallon nationally, people might not be able to get to the congregations. What are we going to do? We're going to be forced to gather together. Okay? We're trying our best to get the community garden going down here. Everyone where you should be putting your fruits and vegetables in the ground. And black people use it. Well, I grew up in a city. You better learn. You better YouTube University. You better get some articles. You better talk to some local UPIC farmers and figure it out. You better figure it out. You better figure it out quick. We ain't got time. Read it again, please.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2.
That's it. That's it on that. We finish that screenshot?
No, sir.
All right.
Rough, man. However, according to the retired Pentagon official for the rest of American society, it's an inconvenience we can handle.
So now, number one, I wish, do me a favor. I want you to Google, okay, former defense and Dave LaPon. I want you to give me an image of Dave LaPon. Just from last week on the show, that great TikTok video Officer Matt did, the news reporters couldn't even hide it. They're like, but these are good, but these are not like the Pakistanis. These are white folks with blue eyes. They can't hide it. Let's see what this guy looks like. He's telling you the same thing, that white people, we going to be all right. But you Negroes and you Puerto Ricans, you Dominicans and you natives, you're going to be the ones that's going to suffer. He just told you that. Now watch you be a black man. I look like a fool.
This guy's the
Hey, he said it's going to hurt low-income working Americans, meaning we're going to be severely affected by it. But they're just going to be inconvenienced by it. That goes to show you it's not going to affect them the way it's going to affect us. So you Christians out there who want us to pray for everybody and hold hands, we've said it once before. If the shoe was on the other foot and Esau was the chosen people, they would not be fighting for you to make it to the kingdom of heaven with them. You are the chosen. That's why we got to go through these things. We had the earth in the palm of our hand. We didn't want to do what God said. So now they got it. So now we have to understand that, hey, things that's going on is going to hurt us. We got to come together. They don't care about us. The article just now just showed you. It's an inconvenience for them, but it's a major hurt for us.
So now, that's a fact, and that's what we played last week. We like to listen to old tapes of Caucasians in the 60s and 50s where they'd tell you, we don't like you. We'll joke with you at work and laugh with you, but at the end of the day, we don't want to be around you. I like that. It lets you know that they're your enemy. And one lady said, they said, well, how do you feel about there's a Negro that's coming in your neighborhood, the first one in your, and one lady said, look, they all have their chance for American dream, but we're going to do everything we can economically, politically to get them out of here. Like, they're telling you who they are. And you think they've changed in one generation? They're never going to change. Because the Lord says that they're wise to do evil. The Lord says that the heart that's in them is not upright in them. Okay? Can you give me that image? Okay, there we go. Thank the Lord. There was a Marine too. Look. So this guy is David Lapon. This is a good old American Caucasian. And he's just telling you the way it is, right? So go back to that. I want you to see it. Okay? Go back to that article where we were just at. We're going to look at what this guy said, and now we're going to translate it so that we can we all see it, but we're going to make it plain. Read it for it says responded again, please.
Responding to an opt-in the Washington Post on Wednesday, Lapon tweeted that the increase in gas prices will definitely hurt many low-income working Americans.
Now, notice he never used the word we there. He didn't assign himself to that, right? So that right there is the minorities, all right? And really, it's us, okay? Are there Caucasians that are in that? Are there some poor? Sure, but the majority is us, okay? Now, read on.
However, according to the retired Pentagon official, for the rest of American society.
So for the rest of American society, read on.
It's an inconvenience we can handle.
My question is, so he separated himself. He's the rest of American society, and we can handle it, but who are the others? He's telling you. That's why they use terms like a black historian as opposed to what? The regular historian. You got a black anchorman, and you got a regular anchorman. You got a what's in one?
You have an apologist.
Yes.
And you have an urban apologist.
Right. You have a Mason, and you have a black Mason.
Yep.
You have a black Baptist and a regular Baptist. Nothing has changed, and this guy said that this year. Nothing's has changed. These gas prices are gonna hurt us. It's designed to hurt us.
Hey, Cap, saw that in the article. It said it's going to hurt low-income working Americans.
Right.
Then it said it's an inconvenience we can handle as the American society. It's a distinction there.
Mm-hmm.
There's the American society, and then there's Americans. You know what I'm saying?
He really want to just call I know what he really want to say, but I don't want to sound too
It's going to hurt the niggas.
Yeah,
there
we go.
But the Americans, we going to be all right.
White folk.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at it, we're denizens. Bishop brought that out years ago. We're denizens. We're not citizens. We're the working class. So we're expendable. That's it. We can always be replaced. There's always somebody else that's going to make $5 an hour. Or the new minimum wage, which is like $10.
Up earlier in the article, he just pretty much said, it is what it is. We can afford to let them fall by the wayside. But us white folk, we're going to be all right.
Yeah, basically casualties of war. It's casualty. Yeah, we got to go to war over here, but hey, back home, I mean, you know, if they die, they die.
Hey, go to article number 3. This show is flying by. Listen, the main point of this show is I think everybody knows gas prices are getting crazy. We're starting to get affected. People's pockets are starting to get hit. But guess what? All of these things think about it. Gas is going up at the highest it's ever been in the history of the U.S., even higher than 2007 with the bubble burst with the housing market. There's a war right now in the Ukraine. There's talks throughout the media of the World War III. They're talking, pull up World War III. Articles are written every day about it. So if these things are going on, it's getting harder for us. Guess what? Our salvation is getting nigh. It's closer and closer. So we have to gather. We have to work together. We have to, as the food price raise, we have to come together. And you leaders, you have to pull your sleeves up, figure stuff out. I'm telling you, y'all, listen, y'all better learn about gardening, okay? Especially y'all down south. Learn about gardening. Learn about fruit trees. Learn about putting things. Learn about storing food. You can't just buy 1,000 pounds, 2,000 pounds of rice and just throw it in a shopping cart in the back. You got to seal it. You got to take the air out of it. You got to preserve it for years to come. We got to figure these things out, and nobody taught us these things. We didn't have people sit down. This is an emergency plan. We have to learn these things. And then when we learn them, we get them solidified. Guess what? The brothers that come after us, we're going to have something set for them. You brothers do this. We got you. You do this. There's a blueprint. Like, for example, Captain Isaac and them is making Matthew 2:13. Well, Lord's Will Life lasts 10 years from now. The brothers that's coming up, the next movie makers, they'll have movies that they can say, hey, look, remember when them brothers did that? We need to create that. We got to be creators and continue to do that. These things are, yes, you should be, don't be afraid of what's going to happen. Just be prepared. Get your mind. A prudent man sees the evil coming and hide himself. Hide himself in what? Preparation, planning, okay? Unity, coming together and planning for the worst and hoping for the best. Okay, you got that article? Okay, all right. Sometimes they have that where we cannot get on. That's okay. Get me, there's a YouTube video. You can't pull up 3, right? Okay, we can't do that. Bear with us. Go to number 5. 5, that's a good one. There's a YouTube gas prices hit highest national average in history. So there's a couple other things in here, and I wanted to show you. There's a picture. If it shows it, I want to. There's actually a place that it's $6.99 at a Shell station. So a lot of times you might see these private gas stations, and they can shoot up the gas price because it might be in a neighborhood that you never heard of in a rich area. This is a Shell gas station that everyone can relate to. Everyone's has a Shell neighborhood, Shell in their neighborhood, Shell in their city or town. Let's play this video, please. Don't worry about the time.
This morning, gas prices soaring to the highest average ever recorded, $4.17 a gallon.
I just filled up right now, and it cost me $50.
I'm sorry, Tech Team. Do me a favor. Let's go to the beginning. I want to show it, and then I'm going to have you pause when you see that image of $6 a gallon, six something. I want to pause it. I want us to marinate on that right quick.
This morning, gas prices soaring to the highest.
Pause. Okay, now. This is you got to imagine. You're in your car. You get ready to go fill up. You pull up to the pump. You look up. You see $6.95. Maybe it's a mistake. So then you pull up to the pump, and you look, and then you see it says $6.95. Now you realize, well, damn, I'm an E. And if you get 10 gallons of gas, that's $69.50. One guy goes on to say that he was going to spend $100, and it wasn't even going to fill his tank halfway. And when the guy says it, he's like, you could tell as a grown man, he begins to become affected. He's like, you're gonna hear it. Play on.
Average ever recorded, $4.17 a gallon.
I just filled up right now, and it cost me $50 versus normally it costing me $30.
Up 10 cents in just
real quick, pause. By the way, she's one of the that's going to be a minor inconvenience. She is one of the we's. The way she talks, she'll be a minor inconvenience, like the former Pentagon Dave said. She's a minor. She not, she just going to have to skip a couple of lattes. Maybe she can't take her aerobics class, right? Maybe only twice a week. And that's being very, very serious.
No, Gab,
she's not worried about it.
When they say inconvenience, they're talking about, well, instead of this week saving $500, I'll only be able to save $480.
Right.
I'll at the most, I might only be able to save $400 this week.
Right.
My IRA may only get a $120 contribution versus a $250 contribution.
Right, and God forbid, Martha, we might only be able to take 2 vacations this year. What? Oh my gosh, yeah. Nathan, no.
Hey, because if gas prices go up, plane tickets go up, Cap.
Right, and hey, we're about to play that. Okay, check this out. All right, this class. Just keep it on the screen as we talk. This class is meant to shock us, to let it sting, to let us be, it's supposed to make us feel uncomfortable. It's not supposed to be pleasant to talk about this because we are going to plan as the 12 tribes of Israel and Israel United in Christ to prepare for the worst to come. This is the beginning. Look at 2 days ago. 2 days ago. This is 417 was a couple of days ago. It's now up to 435. So I'll play on.
$4.17 a gallon.
I just filled up right now, and it cost me $50 versus normally it costing me $30.
Up 10 cents in just one day and 55 cents since last week, eclipsing the previous record of $4.10 a gallon set 14 years ago.
That was in 2008.
To this.
14. That was in 2008. We talked about that throughout the show. We brought articles about that, and it surpassed that. But that was the highest it ever got. This is at the beginning of the spike, and it's still going up. This is why I'm telling you, the Lord going to force us to see who's believers. Play on.
Increased level.
Though gas prices were already climbing before the war in Ukraine, they're now spiking because of worries about global oil supplies. Russia, whose economy is heavily dependent on energy exports, accounts for about 1/10 of the available oil in the market. That
Right, and
price
pause,
surge,
like Officer Matthew was saying earlier. Here it is, you got a pandemic, you got all these things happening. 10% of the world's the oil is from Russia. Now you cut them off through sanctioning. You're just going to create more. Now you have to go to outsource to other areas. So like I think Officer Mikael and Micah pointed out, now you're trying to create an avenue to farm oil and steal oil out of Somalia. Okay? Everywhere he goes is a bunch of damn evil, trails of evil.
Oh, yeah, Cap, let's not forget what they did to Venezuela.
Oh,
Venezuela,
bring it out. Bring it out, bro.
The number two biggest oil deposit in the planet. They took over them. They crashed their economy. Venezuela is crap right now.
Hey, remember when my man said that when George Bush was here, he said it smelled like sulfur.
Yes.
Y'all remember that?
Yep.
Because the Venezuela's economy was going through the roof. And guess who they were in support of? Russia. So, and now Venezuela's nothing. They set up a new government. Remember they was burning money in the street? It was nothing. And it was one of the most powerful economy in all of South America.
Yep.
And they were doing big things, all right? There were many classes. IUIC Bishop Nathaniel, a couple of the deacons brought that out when that was going down. The whole classes on it, okay? Play on. We almost done.
causing worries on Wall Street. The S&P 500 shed 3% Monday, its sharpest daily drop since October 2020. Investors, in part spooked by Capitol Hill lawmakers preparing to ban all Russian energy imports.
I think it's important to take this step.
And when stocks drop and gas prices rise, everybody feels the pinch.
As the price of oil and gas going up has an inflationary impact unlike anything else in the American economy.
Pause. Rewind it again. And this is why tonight's show is called It Starts with the Gas Prices. What he said is, this is why y'all should be concerned. And in that concern, we have to start planning. Right now, for a pint of blueberries, let's say I think the last time I checked, I think it was like $3.50 or $4, depending if you get organic. Well, if you have 50 blueberry plants of your own planted, and now you can get that and give to the congregation in years to come for free, think of all the money you save plus you control. You have that. You have that resource. Food is going to be a commodity that we are going to have to use as leverage. I hope y'all see it. I'm saying to my damn blue in the face. You rewind that part where that economist said that, yes, sir, thank you.
Everybody feels the pinch.
As the price of oil and gas.
Stop real quick. He starts by saying the price of oil and gas, the price of oil and gas, the price of, and this guy is I didn't say his name, but senior national correspondent. So this guy studies the economy. That's his damn job, okay? So play on.
Going up has an inflationary impact unlike anything else in the American economy.
Even affecting travel.
So the price of oil and gas unlike anything else. So that catapults food, travel, bus, plane, train, jet transportation, the cost of semis. How do you think a lot of brothers and sisters, even sisters, are driving semis? Okay, all these ports. Now you got longer wait time, longer idle time, more weight, which is more fuel. Okay, all these things are adding up, and it's going to affect the prices at the grocery store. Once food and gas goes up, guess what they have to do? Landlords have to start raising the rents.
Yep.
Officer Iran, the tech guy who's got flip-flops on right now, shout out to Officer Iran, that brother said, he brought up a good point. He said, look, he said, remember, electric plants don't run off of the sun. They run off of fuel. So some of them are wind, but why is your electric bill going up? Because it's directly dependent on gas and oil. Everything is related to refrigeration, transportation. Everything is based upon the fossil fuel that they take from the ground. Okay, that's why he told you that. So understand that. I hope we all see it. This should not be a shock to you, but we need to use this in the spirit to start to plan. We almost done. Play on.
With spring and summer vacations around the corner, airfares are way up with demand soaring as jet fuel costs continue to rise. And the prices hitting businesses already hurting from record inflation.
When you talk about the food truck industry, food and gasoline, is that a double whammy?
100% is. Everything is going crazy high right now.
This as the rise in gas could just be getting started.
Hey,
and on that
pause
note,
that. Like, I talk with a lot of brothers, especially like owner-operators with trucks. They set aside a certain budget for gas. Guess what? The shipping crisis has already caused a big damper when it comes to logistics and when it comes to us getting food and supplies. Now with the gas prices going all crazy, now it's going to cost these truck drivers 3 times that to in their budget in order to make their quota as far as their gas goes for their truck. That's less take-home money for a while because a lot of it has to go towards gas. So this stuff is very, very serious. Like what they're saying, the price of gas and oil brings inflation like no other. It does. Gas and oil affects everything.
And what you're going to see is, unfortunately, and this is where the Lord is going to see what we're about to do and help each other. So if gas goes to $6 a gallon, let's just say by next week it's $5 a gallon nationally, right? By next week, decisions are going to have to start being made by business owners. Can I keep my doors open? Can I keep the truck running? Can I keep not? They start laying people off. Guess what's going to happen as a result of that? That wonderful 2.5% interest rate, that 2.015% rate that you got on your mortgage to buy a house, what did they do in the 70s to counteract that? They raised interest rate 10, 12% for a mortgage loan. If you don't believe me, Google it. Research it, okay? So these things, this is how economies swing. And everything, like he told you, it starts with the gas and oil. And everything. Let's think of something. Your electric bill going up as a result of that. What else? Your heat bill, like if you have natural gas, like up north where I'm from, New England, all that, it's still in the heating season. All of that goes up, okay? Big machinery, okay? Diesel fuel. Diesel is from, what's Mike, you're a diesel mechanic. Diesel is a derivative from oil, correct? So all these things are directly affected. Talk about your industry.
Yeah, that's correct. Diesel is a byproduct of gas. It is oil-based, and that's why you're going to see the diesel. But diesel price is going to be higher than gas. I took the rib call coming here because diesel is higher than premium right now. Diesel is way higher than premium. That is unheard of. Yeah.
Damn.
Oil-based. Costs more.
Y'all got to see it, man. So, look, we just bringing this to your attention. Let's finish this out. We're about to close out. The show went super fast.
Can I bring one more?
Of course.
After you finish,
yes,
Cap,
yes.
There's one more article that I wanted to bring out after that.
Absolutely. And look, I'm gonna tell you, we're probably gonna continue on with this and just track this in the media because we're in the real time. And I pray the Lord it stabilized, but next week we could come back and it could be a national average of 460, 470. And we're gonna have to work together. We're gonna have to work together. Our congregations, sacrifices, working together. helping each other. We might have to help each other to feed each other. There's going to be a lot of stuff we're going to have to do. Tough choices. Brothers lose their job, close their business down. Things are going to have to start working. That's what I'm telling y'all. Y'all start doing these gardens, these community gardens. And it might take a couple years to get this up. You better start now. You better start now. You better start these storehouses, keep them stocked. Learn how to package food. Learn how to store it correctly. It's not a game, okay? Our leadership has been telling us, get your storehouses up, all you congregations. And look, and the other people that are not in IUIC that watch us, we recommend you do the same thing. Start to prepare. A prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself. In what? In planning and preparation. When this happens, what are we going to do? Contingency plans, okay? Play on.
Expect any move by Congress to ban Russian energy imports as lasting months, not weeks, so making the situation potentially so much harder as if countries like China and India come in and buy up that Russian supply. It would really limit the impact of what we're trying to do here at home. Hold it back to you.
All right, Sam, thanks.
All right, so that was it. Also, Matt, you got something to drop on us.
Yeah, go to that last article that I just posted, foreign policy.
All praises. Why wait to get to that? I want you to. All right, all praises.
All right, go ahead and read that, officer.
Yes, sir. And backing Russia on Ukraine, Iran is on the wrong side of history.
Now, we've been saying this. You got all of this stuff going on. I just want everybody to be in perspective. This is why it's going to be more of a fire lit up under all of us to come together. All right? It said with this stuff going on, they said Iran is on the wrong side of history. Why? Because the U.S. thinks that they're going to destroy Russia and anybody else who's with them. Now, they're saying that Iran is on the wrong side of that. Read.
While the United States and its allies cobbled together package after package of punitive measures on Russia to drive home that Russian President Vladimir Putin's adventurism in Ukraine will have grave consequences for his country and catapult it into global isolation. And as the humanitarian crisis propitiated by the blitzkrieg is consuming resources and shifting global consciousness, the eccentricity with which Russians southern Caspian Sea neighbor and ally Iran has responded to the crisis has mostly remained unnoticed.
So they're basically saying, look, what Russia's doing is going to be detrimental to their economy, and their ally, Iran, has been kind of quiet. Now watch this. Second paragraph, right there.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was one of the first world leaders to pick up the phone and call Putin to pledge allegiance as soon as the news of the war flashed over TV screens on February 24th.
Boom. So the ally of Putin is one of the dragons of Arabia.
That's right.
They have been quiet. Remember, a couple years ago, the United States assassinated 2 leaders. One was a physicist, and one was the second in command of the entire country.
Remember, they flew the flag for the first time in like 100 years.
Yep.
And they are, like, I know what you're saying. You talking about the dragons, they're going to remember their nature.
So he was one of the first world leaders to pick up the phone and say, okay, you invading on Ukraine? I know exactly why you're doing it. Hey, I got your back. United States ain't saying nothing about that. They pointing Putin and Russia and Ukraine, putting all that in your face. Meanwhile, on the back end, there's some old other thing going on. That's why when Cap say, our salvation draweth nigh, look at what's going on. These things are happening. And this is written by foreign policy. This is what Esau reads, the ones that say this is what American society reads. The low-income working Americans, we don't read that. We too busy on TikTok and Instagram, shaking our behind and stunting like we really got money when we really about to be hurting. And all y'all that got y'all PPP loans, don't go complain about gas prices. Use your company car.
Yeah,
Use your company car with all y'all that fake PPP loans and all that.
And that's why now more than ever, y'all need to get with some financial literacy and get your debt to income ratios low. Okay, if you can get a car, a good used car, and maintain it and not have a car payment, if you think about the money you can save, think about those of you who want to get these. Now, I'm not telling you what to do, but getting these big 8-cylinder cars that use a lot more fuel. Start thinking of more fuel-efficient vehicles. Start thinking of how we can save money all across the board and do it collectively as a community. We're going to be forced to come together. Isaiah 14. We're going to close out with this. Next week, well, we're going to continue on with the same vein next week. It's right in our face, right in our face. It's amazing. I was telling my wife, I was pulling because we live near a Walmart. I remember in the summertime, it was below $2. So I think it was I think it was low $2. So it is more than almost doubled in about a year's time. It's amazing. Y'all got to see this thing is, wow. Isaiah 14, we're going to start at verse, I want to start at verse 3 this time.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
You know, black people, Hispanic people, we are hurting. That's why he said in the article, he said, look, it's going to affect you poor working class Americans. It's going to affect you. But us, regular Americans, it's just going to be a minor inconvenience for us. But you, read it again.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
You know, some people got to choose between gas and food, or food and medication, or gas and medication. There's choices that people are having to make. Real choices, you know, serious choices that are affecting their everyday lives. Read on.
And from thy fear, and from the hard bondage.
You know it's a hard thing. I've been there. When you have to decide, well, this is years ago, before I came to truth. Well, I need to pay the mortgage, but I can't afford the $250 light bill and the $60 gas bill. Well, they can cut the power off. We'll get by with that. We're going to go back to, I got rice, I got some beans. We're going to eat that for a couple of weeks. We got no power, but the mortgage is still getting paid. Like, you got to make some real choices. And we've been doing that for hundreds of years, just sacrificing. And it's about to get bad for a lot of us. And we are going to have to come together. Read on.
And from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve.
Right. And our forefathers, and that's why it's amazing that we're still alive today, that we came through a hard bondage. And we should learn and draw strength from our forefathers going through Jim Crow, slavery, black codes. Okay? And what we can learn from them is they were forced to work together. They were forced to come together in unity. Now we have a little bit better situation here. We've got technology. We've got a lot of information we can get. We can gather certain things to create things that we didn't have 20, 30 years ago. The internet has changed things in a lot of ways to our advantage. Okay? Read on. We're closing out.
Verse 4.
Yes, sir.
That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased?
And that's the thing. It's the oppressor that's causing this war in the Ukraine. The oppressor are the ones like the Tyson food companies that are not run by brothers that look like you, me, and the tech team. They're people that have put you in slavery that control these industries. Spiritual wickedness in high places, like Paul said in Ephesians, the 6th chapter. Read on.
The gold city ceased. The Lord had broken the staff of the wicked.
And He's going to break the staff of the wicked. And guess what? In Lord's will, we stay in the spirit. We stay together, keep these commandments. We will hopefully see that in our day. Now jump to verse 7 and we're going to close out.
Verse 7. The whole earth is at rest.
Right now, the earth is on civil unrest. It's not resting. Why? Because the righteous is not. The unjust is in power. Read on.
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
Watch this, verse 8.
Verse 8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee.
Man, the deforestation, okay, all of the poisoning of the air and the seas. Look at where they had Olympics in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. They had to send these barges in to comb the crap and the trash in the sea. Terrible. Okay, read on.
And the cedar of Lebanon sang, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us.
And how's that going to happen? because he's going to use Russia. He's going to use the dragons of Arabia, and the Most High is going to use these other nations to muster in thermonuclear war, known as World War III, or the third woe when you read in the book of Revelation. And that is going to happen soon. So with that, Lord's will, you stay with us. I know it's late. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Precept Upon Precept. Look, y'all, stay tuned. Watch this media. Watch daily what's going on with these prices of food, prices of transportation, plane tickets, gas prices. Watch and pray, all right? So we got some things we need to run real quick.
Hey, look, Israel, like Captain Shim is saying, we got to gather together. Acts 4 and 32, we have all things in common. So look, one way we can do that is by giving alms. Give alms to your local school. You can drop it in the alms box. You can give via PayPal. If you want to give to this show, you can give to this show via PayPal at IUIC.NewOrleans@IsraelUnite.org. Also, make sure y'all give to the Booster Club. Give to the Booster Club at IUIC.fundraising@IsraelUnite.org. But we got to come together, y'all. We got to make sure we have all things in common. These the last days, man.
Israel united in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
All praise to the Most High. Thank you for joining us again, another edition of Precept Upon Precept. Do us a favor if you haven't done so already. Share our website, YouTube page, excuse me. I'm tired as hell. IUIC New Orleans, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. When you do that, you'll be indicated of any videos that come out. Share our videos. We're trying to get to 15,000 views. Subscribers rather. Stay with us. Help us share. Push this truth. Look, and endure. We're all going through a little something in our lives. Y'all got to endure. Hold on. It's going to be all right. Hold the line, Israel. Hold the line. All right? So with that, we are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
And with that, brothers and sisters, we say shalom.
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 You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word, make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line, the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. Putting in the work for the Most High. Valley of the bones coming back and we gon' ride. Showing you our past didn't start with that boat ride. We a nation made of kings, yeah, we chose right. Bringing our identity back. We the praise of the Lord, they pretend to be that. Judah is something special, they can never be that. We raise the vengeance with the knowledge so our enemies crack. In fact, listen to the class and the topic. Bomb subject matter, breakdowns atomic. Gathering the people, the whole duty of prophets.